So in one of my most recent videos, I went over what I think is one of the best budget weapons currently in Escape from Tarkov in the G36, but I think there may be one that's actually better, and that's the AUG. Now, there's a few reasons why the AUG is so good and why it's also going to scale really well into the late game. But one of the most important things is that it's really cheap. You don't need to put much on this, and you can't actually put a lot of different attachments on this weapon. Now, one of the really important things when buying an AUG is you need the AUG A3. This is going to allow you to take this top sight off, put a rail on it, and put any sight you want on it. If you get, say, the AUG A1, you're not going to be able to take this top sight off. So you need the AUG A3. Now, if you go search for this, you are able to buy it from Peacekeeper rank 3. This is around 83,000 rubles, but if you're playing at most normal times, you'll be able to find an AUG for 75 to 80k. I've been buying them for right around that price. It's pretty late right now, so there's not a lot up, but if you're playing more at prime time or more at not degenerate hours, you'll usually be able to find them right around that 80,000 ruble mark. So once you've bought the AUG A3, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the sight off and you're going to put one of the other rails on it. I'd recommend going for the low sight mount. It's very low, so there's not a lot of height over bore, meaning it's just going to be easier to use, but the high sight mount isn't much higher, so either are going to be fine. Then you're going to put whatever sight you want on this. If I'm going for more medium to long range, I'll probably put something like a Spectre on this, but if you're going for something super cheap, you can get the Vow de Cretchet. This is only 14k from the traders pretty early on. You're going to put any tactical device you want on it. You can just use a Bald R Pro. It's only 9k, has a flashlight and a laser pointer on it. Now, the only other thing you're going to put on this weapon is a suppressor, and you can get the Steyr AUG Reflex sound suppressor, and this is going to go on top of the flash hider that comes on any AUG you're going to be buying. And that's legitimately all the attachments you're going to need to put on the AUG. And it's not going to be super expensive. Always make sure to take off owner type traders because you can get them cheaper on the flea market. But as you see, getting the AUG for around 80k and then getting these 4 different parts, it's going to be an additional 57k right here. So you're going to just buy all those, you're going to put this AUG together, and that's basically all you need to do. You have the entirety of this weapon. It has 42 vertical recoil and still, with a 30 round mag in it, has 46.5 ergo. This weapon is incredibly usable, incredibly accurate, has 715 RPM, so it's not super fast RPM and it's not super slow, so it's that kind of midpoint that makes it very usable. It's a smaller weapon as it is a bullpup, so it's going to be easier to use indoors, and it's 5.56, so you're at least going to be able to get some decent rounds with really high availability. Now, you have two pretty decent options for the magazines for the AUG. Either you can go to Peacekeeper rank 2 and you can get the 30 round magazines, which is what they come with, going to be completely fine, or once you get to rank 3 Peacekeeper, you can actually get 42 round magazines. Now, these are going to be 3 high, so you're going to have to use certain rigs that allow for that, but these 42 round mags and a lot of other mags that are in similar sizes that aren't drums but are a bit longer than normal mags don't drop the ergo near as much as drums. In fact, most of the drums or 60 round mags usually drop the ergo by about double of these 42 rounders, so it doesn't drop the ergo as much. It's 42 rounds, so it's still pretty good, especially with 715 RPM. You're not going to be spraying through 42 rounds super quickly, and they're only 69 USD, so they're pretty cheap once you get to rank 3 Peacekeeper. But if you're only at rank 2, you can just get the 30 rounders and you're still going to be completely fine. And this weapon build is so good, it's going to just continue to scale as you get better and better ammo. Now, if you're early on, you can go over to rank 2 Peacekeeper and you can either buy M856, or if you have FMJ, you can also get that. FMJ is going to be better than M856, but I do think FMJ comes from a quest completion, not 100% sure. But once you get the Peacekeeper rank 3, you can start to buy unlimited M855, which is going to be better than both the other rounds we went over. This is going to be the point most people are at. In fact, I don't even know how easy it's going to be to buy M56A1 from a trader this wipe. So most ammos above M855 aren't going to be super easy to get until super late into the end game. Most people you're running into is going to be running M855 or lower, or some type of equivalent round for other other weapons. And you can buy an infinite amount of M855 once you get there. It's pretty cheap at a little under 2 USD around, and there's no limits. So you're going to be able to run this every single raid if you want to. And that's legitimately the entirety of this build. Incredibly simple, incredibly cheap. It's a silence weapon with a tactile device, a sight, and you can even get pretty cheap larger magazines in a super low recoil rifle that's also pretty easy to use indoors. This thing has pretty much everything you want, and like it's mentioned, once you get better ammo, it's just going to continue to scale and get better and better as you get those better ammos. I would not be surprised if in a few months, when everybody's super late into the wipe, that you continue to see a bunch of AUGs running around using like all M56A1 or M55A1 and still destroying people, because this weapon is just that good, and it's just super thematic. Like I mentioned with the G36, the AUG has been used in so many other super popular FPS games, including older Call of Duties, so a lot of people just have a fondness for this weapon as well. But that's pretty much all I want to go over, so thanks for watching.
Куда он зашкерился?